Okay, so right now we are finishing up our third, or actually, we're getting ready to start and finishing our third week on color. So, as we started this unit or this lesson, part of the elements of art unit, we started with just the basics of color, like what is it scientifically, and the basics being how we organize it into a color wheel, stuff like that. So, that first week we talked about the color wheel. Takashi Murakami and his awesome super flat style and bright colors. Adam Hillman taking photographs of colors just precisely arranged into great compositions. Then last week we expanded into like a bigger color wheel with tints and shades and how that can make wonderful artworks like op art or abstract art come back and forward, creating that sense of depth and illusion of space and artwork that doesn't have to be about anything except for color. So this week, we're going to kind of expand on that a little bit and talk about color theory and utilize some color schemes, which sounds like a tricky thing or a sneaky thing, but really it's just the arrangement of colors based on their position on the color wheel, and then utilizing that and their tints and shades to make art appear or affect either the subjects or the viewer in a certain way. Okay, so I want to start, of course, with one of my favorites. This is my favorite so far, this video here. So we'll start with this. You're gonna love it, I know it.
Colors, oh, colors.
We started with the color basics, let's face it, you made it this far for a reason. Now you're itching and you're racing to learn more and more, so let's review. It starts with yellow, red, and blue. Yes, it's elementary, 3 colors primary, 1 yellow, 2 blue, 3 red like strawberry. All the other colors come from these 3, yo, but you need to learn more to be a true color hero. Now, level 2, here's what you do. You mix red and blue, red and yellow, yellow and blue. 3 new colors called secondary. 1 orange, 2 purple, 3 green like a tree. So now we have a nice color wheel of 6 then. But what happens if we mix them again? Each color with each color beside them. Bam! New colors, it's not scary. Level 3, these new colors are called tertiary. Keep on staring with your eyes, learn the names, memorize tertiary colors from the top clockwise. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, purple. Now we're back at the beginning. And if those names are boring, they got other names too, like amber, vermilion, teal, and chartreuse, violet, magenta. Let's all raise our voices, say new color names. Now look at the choices, look at the choices. The color wheel's grown bigger, it's expanding. Just like your mind, it's demanding that you learn more about color schemes. Are you ready? Opposite colors on the wheel are called complementary. Whoa, complementary, did you say? These are the colors that are furthest away from each other on the wheel, but they clash when together. Some call it contrast. You want some examples to see what it means? If you want to be seen, just try wearing red in a forest of green. Don't hide a purple monster in an all-yellow town and emphasize this orange with a blue background. Let's keep moving on. No, this ain't the end. We're gonna take a look at colors that blend nice together. Now back to the wheel, let's discuss colors that are close together called analogous. So you take colors that are side by side, 1 and 2 and 3. We got green and teal and blue, and these analogous colors please the eye, create visual harmony. Let's try. How about yellow, orange, and red, orange this time? I know oranges don't rhyme, but you can combine them all together, and you got a fire so sweet to stare at. You're getting mesmerized by these colors, but we ain't done yet. No, we ain't done yet. Moving right along with the song, one more thought, then that's it. There's another color scheme we call monochromatic. Mono means one and chromatic means color. Sound too simple, don't worry, you can use other values. Combine it with any tones, tints, and shades. What's all that? It means black, whites, and grays. Yep, values. We got another whole song concerning that, but for now, you should just concentrate on learning colors. On learning colors. Yeah, we're learning colors.
Complementary colors, analogous colors, monochromatic colors.
Pretty awesome, huh? I know you love it. Hey, the guys that came in late, it's okay. It's right here on the slide, and you can watch the full thing later if you want to, which I know you probably do, because it's great. Okay, so the color schemes that we derive from the color wheel have a lot of potential to affect us, right? The viewer, the artwork, and so on. So some of the things that you may have picked up and caught on there, all right, from the color wheel. First of all, analogous colors, which I've mentioned a couple times. Analogous colors are next to each other on the color wheel. They're, neighborly. They get along for the most part. And then when we break the color wheel roughly in half, so this is a little debatable because, like, for example, actually, if I show you this side, I can get it both on one screen, I just realized. I have a resource here on the left that says warm colors, the dividing line is sort of between red, orange, and blue, green. And then another one that says it's kind of through red, violet, and yellow, green. So there is some debate, discussion as to where warm and cool colors might fall. I think a lot of it depends on how they're mixed, what they're near, whether they sort of read as one or the other. Some are going to pretty much always be viewed as warm or cool. Like in my opinion, red is going to always be a warm color. I don't know why the color wheel on the left shows it as a cool color. I don't agree with that. But I think that because colors are so subjective, sometimes people might be able to push that a little bit. You remember when you're little and you learn your letters and you hear the vowels. What are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Like we have rules for everything, and then sometimes rules are bent, pushed, broken. Okay, so that's true with stuff in art too. So I like the descriptions over here: the cool family, the warm family. Okay. And it kind of goes along with values as well. And so when you squint your eyes at the two color wheels that are side by side, what I do like about that graphic is that it does demonstrate how the lighter colors, which also overlap to some degree with the warmer colors, are the lighter in value, the ones that are coming forward. Whereas the ones that are darker and cooler are the ones that are going to recede in our view, because darker values tend to go backwards and lighter values tend to come forward. So there's a little bit of that in common. So the brighter, warmer colors are going to come forward and the darker, cooler colors are going to go backwards. That's just one of those things. So you can harness that power in your artwork. So when you start to use these color theories, you can say and make choices in your artwork. Like here I have a pear and I'm going to paint it. It's green. It's a nice green pear. If I put red behind it, or if I put green behind it, would make a big difference. So like, look at these two pears. When you have red behind it, it really jumps it forward, because those colors are complements. When you put a green behind it, it can potentially kind of just melt into the background or the foreground. And then also you have to consider value. If the value of those two colors are very similar, then it increases the chance that it'll kind of blend. But if the values are very different, dark versus light, then it'll increase that pop. So there are a lot of things to consider there, whether you want it to kind of melt into the background or whether you want it to really pop. So like if you look at this green one, there are areas where the contrast is very high. Like on the right-hand side, where the light is hitting the pear on the top versus the shaded part in the background. But look on the left-hand side where it's kind of shaded and fading into the background. Or even on the bottom right hand where it's kind of just fading into the background there. Okay, so you can use value and color to pop out or fade in, okay, which we already kind of knew, but this is taking it up a level. The last thing I want to show you on this slide says, click here to access a color palette generator. This thing is so fun. So I stumbled upon this. This is, it's called Color Hunt, and it's got all these palettes on it that are created by designers, for designers. It's really neat. You can like them, you can share them, you can save them. So you might come here and all of these have the Pantone number, and you could also click on this and copy that number and paste it right into Fresco or Photoshop and load that color directly up. It's got some hashtags here. It's got related. It's just a really cool thing. And you might be like, but why would I want that? These are like those paint chips, right? Well, what if you were getting ready to start like a sunset painting and you wanted some inspiration about colors that would look good together? Maybe you wanted analogous colors that look good and reminded you of sunset. Well, here's a great place to start, something like this. Or what if you were, you had an assignment, or if you were even a designer and you wanted to make a poster or a little logo that was for like a coffee shop? Well, look at this guy over here. This has got all these beautiful warm, it even says that in the hashtag there, shades of like orange and brown that would maybe kind of call to mind coffee flavors and stuff like that. So you could find analogous combinations, but you could also find like, you know, this one, which is definitely complements, or it's getting kind of tricky. This one's actually a split complementary. We're not going to get into that today, but these are really neat. And you can, like I said, you can save them, you can like them, you can enter them right into Photoshop. You could open it and use it as a thing you could sample from. I mean, I just think they're really neat and they might give you good inspiration. Okay, any questions so far on the color slide here and what we've covered so far today? This was just a sort of an introduction into color theory. Any questions on that? Okay, then we're going to do a little exercise together. What I would like you to do is to go to Schoology. Now you might need to do like a little split screen action so you can do the exercise with me. If that works for you, I'll wait for you to go to Schoology on your iPad. You're going to want to do this on your iPad. And on the materials page in this week, we're going to click on that link right there that says Color Theory Sheet 2. If I end up going too fast or something, you know, and you miss a step, please make sure that you either type in the chat or call out loud. Okay, so we're on Schoology in the main materials folder this week, and then Color Theory Sheet 2. This is what it looks like. When you get there, I want you to press and hold with your finger so that you get this option, Save to Camera Roll, and say okay. Okay, so now I am going to use Fresco. You could use Photoshop or Fresco. Please do not use Notability. I'm going to open my current screen size, and I will wait here for a second, but if you need help, you need to let me know, okay? Because I'm counting on you to speak up if you need either help or a little bit of slowdown or whatever. You're going to insert from your camera roll just by going right down to photos. And there it is, your resource. Yes, and this is just fine. Okay, so we've got our resource from Schoology, which is called the Color Theory Sheet 2. And now I'm using Fresco because I like the color choices, I guess. Photoshop's fine too, though. You should be fine. Okay, now once we're in here, remember, let's just, I'm gonna start with red. Now I've been working on this, oh, did I use, that's weird, never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna start with red. I'm gonna have a basic hard round brush and just keeping it super simple, okay? Over here in my layers palette, I've just got the background, a blank layer, and now my sheet. I don't want to draw or paint on my resource layers or my photo layers ever. So now I'm on that blank layer and I'm just gonna like shade it in. Now, some of you, or color it in, some of you have spent hours on the color wheel stuff. This is not like that. We're just doing an exercise. Look, it doesn't show. Oh, easy to fix. This is something I've been over a bunch of times, but maybe you haven't had the opportunity to do this yet. So you're going to click on your resource layer. You're going to pop open that little sliders section. You're going to change the normal blend mode to multiply. When you do that, you're basically telling that layer that everything that is on it that is white is going to drop away and be invisible. So cool. So like I said, we're not really interested in perfection as far as like coloring this in right now. So let's just identify, let's fill out the color wheel and this little stripy section over here. So once you get orange, it's okay if you want to do it like secondaries, that's fine. Make sure you're on that layer below. So let's do our colors, like our main colors first. Yellow, yellow. And I'm just working my way around. Now you can keep it like pegged up in the corner if you want, but like that green to me feels like not true green. So I usually slide it down a little bit out of that corner. For a couple of these, like they just feel too bright, I guess is the way to put it. Blue, blue. Now I'm going to skip indigo over there for a second. Come down here to purple or violet. And then to get indigo, I'm going to back up just a little bit between blue and purple to get indigo. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for a second to make sure I have everybody with me. How's everybody doing? Should look something
amazing.
Yes, that was great. On your color wheel or just in general?
In general.
Okay, great. How's your color wheel going?
It's going.
All right, I'll take that too. Okay, so for our next step, we're going to add another layer because it was fine to do all that on one layer, but we really need to be in the habit of not doing everything on its own layer. So before I go into cool and warm, I think I'm going to mix the tertiary colors because I think that's a good idea. Okay, so to get the tertiary colors, I'm just going to hit my little color picker and look down below. We have the recents are popping up now. So to get between red and violet, I'm gonna click on my violet, and I know that my tertiary red violet is between red and violet, or red and purple. So I'm gonna put this back up in the corner and I'm gonna start moving my way over here. So here's red, here's violet, red violet. I don't want it to be too pink, so I'm gonna bring it down some. And sometimes you just don't know. Okay, it's all right until you get up there. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, So I'm going to put that over there. Then let's see, I'm going to start on my blue. I think this was my blue. Wait, is that my blue? Yep, blue. So now I want to go from blue to my violet. So I'm going to move from here towards my blue violet. This is going to be a little bit deeper, I believe. Not that deep. And I don't really know till I try it. Ugh, I think my blue was too light. Yeah, it's good enough for now. And then I'm going to start on my green and move towards my blue. This is going to be a blue-green. That's pretty close. My blue is bad. I have to change my blue. I thought I was going to be able to live with it, but I really cannot. Oops, get out of there. Okay, that's a little better. Not very much, but a little bit. All right, so then yellow-green. I'm going to start on yellow and then move towards green. I don't like it quite that bright. That's better. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, then let's start on orange and move towards yellow. And I'm looking, you know, oops, that's not quite enough. I don't think I can undo that. And I need to move a little bit more towards, actually, I can't remember which one it was that I didn't. Orange. I need to move a little bit more towards orange. I love Photoshop. When you do this with paint, it's a lot harder. I mean, you could just have to paint over stuff, but it is a lot harder. Okay, red and going into orange. Let's try this one. Not too bad. Okay, how's everybody doing with that? That red orange needs to be a little redder. See how easy that is? When you're mixing paint, that could take hours. I'm not even joking. Literally hours. My blues are not so great. Those are a little too close. Okay, so once we've done that, let's add another layer. And now it's time to sort out which are warm and which are cool. Okay, so we can go back to our recents. And you can start with just the major, you know, the ones here, the Roy G. Biv. And there is some openness for debate. And if you wanted to, you could put in your tertiaries. And if you can't, if you'd rather, you can just go like this, see? You can just use your eyedropper, pick up right from your color wheel or your strip of whatever in this box. So most of them, like it's going to get tricky when you get to this yellow green. Okay, so like yellow green, warm. See, in my opinion, no. Kind of on the fence. Maybe I'll put it at the bottom here. Some people think yellow green is warm. That's a hard one for me. Okay, so green for sure is going to be in the cool. Cool. See, I guess when you put that next to the yellow green, it is a little on the warm side. The yellow green is. I just have a hard time saying that that is full on warm. Blue, green, blue. Anybody experiencing any difficulties? Or have any thoughts or questions about what they're doing? How does anybody, oops, I just did that one. How does anybody else feel about blue-green? The next hard one's going to be that red-violet. What do you feel about that yellow-green? Warm or cool? Yeah, there's two of them. So those are tricky ones. this, this one right here, and this one right here. Those are tricky. Where did you guys put them?
I would say the more purple one is warm and the green one's cool.
Yeah. I think if you depart, like really depends on what exact like tint or shade or tone of them whatever hue you use. Like it could go either way. They're kind of like a Y. Okay, so moving on down, I'm going to add another layer. And now this is just you working out examples of these things, okay? So I'm going to pick up whatever color I want here. This is like this is that red violet. So if I'm making a value scale of that, I could start with, let me make my brush just a little bigger. There's a dark value, then I come back and I can bring it up a little bit, step up. This is not necessary to be pretty. See, just working on making that value scale of this one color to show that you understand what that means. Okay, now let's switch gears to what it means to make analogous. And you have your color wheel right here. So analogous colors are next to each other on the color wheel. They're neighbors. So here's green. So this way you can do this. Let me mark something. If you use a big black circle, here are the primaries, right? Blue, red, yellow. So when you're talking about analogous colors, you can use the big shapes that we've identified there, or the big sections, the primaries and the secondaries, or you can also include tertiaries. So I had green, right? Analogous to green is blue and yellow. So let me grab a blue. There's an analogous pair. But let's say I chose yellow. Here's yellow. Analogous to yellow is also yellow orange, because that's a tertiary color that's right next to it. Okay, everybody see that? Now let's choose red. Analogous to red is red orange, which is a tertiary, and orange. Sorry, it's got so much clicking. Because all three of them are in a row. So you can have analogous colors that are 1 step apart and 2 steps apart. You can have those 3 in a row, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. People see that? The complements are a little bit different. So if I have orange here as a color, there's really only one direct complement. So if I had straight up orange, the straight up complement is going to be blue. So then it gets maybe a little bit tricky. If my straight up color is yellow green, what is the straight up complement going to be? Anybody know? Red violet. So a tertiary's complement is another tertiary. So blue to orange, red to green, blue green to red orange, yellow to violet. See what I mean? It's a direct correlation. So that bottom one that I just did was yellow green to red violet. Here is green green to red red. You don't have to say green green and red red. All right, so what questions do you have? And you can keep working on this a little bit. What questions do you have about this introduction to color theory? Some of this you may have already been familiar with. Some of you might have been a review. I mean, you've been learning about complementary colors for a long time, and you may have forgotten the word for analogous, but I think you probably were familiar with the ideas that colors next to each other get along with each other, while colors on the opposite side fight with each other. Maybe it's just a review of terminology and the whole cool versus warm. Okay, like I think some of this is just stuff that we're accessing in the back of our minds. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, let me go back to Schoology here for a minute. Actually, I don't want to go back to Schoology. I want to go to the slideshow. Okay, so this was our introduction to the color theory and starting to talk about that for our last week of color. Let me go back to the first page because some of you missed that first this slide with all the schedule on it. So tomorrow you're going to get the link and the introduction kind of voiceover. It'll be much shorter for the classwork and a video walkthrough of that. That's your assignment for tomorrow. That assignment will be due by Thursday, okay? Thursday class will be spent going over the artworks and the artists that we're going to be studying with the color schemes here. And then Friday is a work day and demos and things for class. Next week, you're going to be spending time working on that artwork and also class catch up. And all artworks for the second quarter are due by next Friday. So you should expect emails going home to you and your parent guardians in the next couple days talking about what your current average is. So please contact me if you need some help straightening any of that out or getting any clarity so that you can be in the best possible position to get your quarter finished up successfully. Okay? All right, any questions? Tomorrow, you should be looking for that email or coming to the website to see the video so that you can get working on that. Okay? If there are no questions, that's it for today.